Congratulations to all Palantir shareholders. Palantir has officially joined the S&P 500. But wait. There's more you need to understand. The inclusion was announced by the S&P 500 and Dow Jones indices on September 6, following the market close. This is a significant development for Palantir, and in this video, I'll break down the performance and expected percentage changes for Palantir within the S&P 500. We'll look at market cap weighting and more. If you're new here, please drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with fellow Palantir investors and traders who might find this information useful. Palantir, along with Dell Technologies and Erie Indemnity, will be added to the S&P 500, effective before trading begins on Monday, September 23. These changes usually take a couple of weeks to fully implement. Palantir will replace American Airlines in the S&P 500, which means increased exposure not just because funds tracking the index will have to include Palantir, but also due to the fact that the S&P 500 is one of the most liquid and heavily traded indices in the world. Being included in the S&P 500 is a significant privilege and a mark of prestige. The S&P 500 is the most tracked index globally, reflecting the health of the 500 largest publicly traded companies in the U.S. It's more prominent than any European or Indian index, highlighting its importance on the world stage. To qualify for the S&P 500, a company must meet several criteria. First, it needs a market cap of at least $8.2 billion. The company must also be structured as a U.S. corporation, have common stock listed on eligible U.S. exchanges like the New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ, and most importantly, it must be profitable. This means having positive earnings in the most recent quarter and over the trailing 12 months. Palantir met these requirements, achieving profitability by the end of 2022, as indicated in their financial reports. Palantir has achieved 2 years of profitability and continues to show strong growth. The most recent earnings report highlighted a net income of $135 million. CEO Alex Karp expressed confidence in the company's future, suggesting that the best days are still ahead. This confidence is supported by Palantir's consistent quarter-over-quarter growth in profitability. Currently, 82% of Palantir shares are profitable, with an average cost basis of $26.54. Following the S&P 500 inclusion announcement, Palantir's stock surged, climbing 7.7% in after-hours trading. This increase reflects a positive response from investors, with many now seeing gains. The stock's price movement indicates that it's approaching resistance levels around $32 to $33 per share, with all-time highs exceeding $45. I anticipate Palantir could reach a price target of $40 by the end of the year. Institutional investment in Palantir has notably increased since the company achieved profitability in December 2022. Institutions are particularly interested in companies that demonstrate consistent growth in earnings, and Palantir's strong financial performance has attracted significant institutional involvement. Institutional ownership in Palantir has been increasing, particularly since the company became profitable in late 2022. This trend is expected to continue, especially with Palantir's addition to the S&P 500, which will likely attract more institutional interest. As of the most recent data, the market cap of the S&P 500 is just under $48 trillion, following a recent sell-off that saw the market cap decrease by about $845 billion. Palantir's current market cap is just under $68 billion, representing a market cap weighting of approximately 0.14% in the S&P 500. This is a relatively small influence compared to the largest companies like Apple, Microsoft, and Nvidia. By the way, if you are benefiting from the content so far and want more like this, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications bell, and comment the word more. Just go ahead and type the word more so I know. Now that you've commented, let's continue. Despite this small weighting, Palantir's inclusion is a significant milestone. In terms of assets under management, AUM, for S&P 500 ETFs and index funds, preliminary research suggests there is around $4.50 to $5 trillion, though these numbers should be taken with caution as they may not be precise. With the inclusion of Palantir in the S&P 500, there will be significant buying activity from index funds and ETFs that track the S&P 500. These funds, which collectively manage around $4.50 to $5 trillion, need to adjust their portfolios to reflect the new composition of the S&P 500. This means they will need to purchase Palantir shares to ensure their holdings align with the index. Given Palantir's market cap weighting of 0.14% in the S&P 500, this translates to an estimated $6.3 billion worth of buying needed from these funds to include Palantir. This buying pressure could drive the stock price up. Based on rough estimates, this could lead to a price move of around 7% to 10%, which aligns with the 7.7% increase Palantir experienced in after-hours trading following the announcement. To put this into perspective, if $4 trillion of AUM was used, the move would be about 8.3%, and with $5 trillion, it would be around 10%. The 7.7% increase in Palantir's stock price fits within this expected range, indicating that substantial buying is already occurring. Historically, stocks tend to rise on the announcement day or shortly after. For example, KKR's stock showed an increase following its S&P 500 inclusion. While other factors also impact stock performance, this data provides insight into the typical market reaction to such announcements. When an announcement is made about a company being included in the S&P 500, the market typically reacts positively. For example, when Palantir was announced for inclusion on September 6 with a start date of September 23, the stock's price usually rises. Historical data shows that after such announcements, stocks often see an average increase of 7 to 8%, although this can vary by company. One day after the announcement, stocks generally rise, with a 100% occurrence rate for increases. However, the situation changes over time. For instance, KKR, CrowdStrike, GoDaddy, Uber, and Super Micro Computer initially saw gains but had varying results 1 month later. KKR was up 7.2% initially but fell to 1.82% by the end of the month. CrowdStrike, GoDaddy, and Uber had minimal changes, while Super Micro Computer saw a significant initial jump of 18%, which then settled at a 5% gain after a month. On the other hand, Palo Alto Networks and Tesla experienced substantial growth both right after the announcement and 1 month later. Tesla, in particular, saw a dramatic increase of 62% 1 month post-announcement, partly due to a short squeeze driven by institutional buying and covering of short positions. Looking 1 year after the announcement, the positive trend is less consistent. Stocks are typically higher 75% of the time, but the performance can vary significantly. For instance, KKR's stock dropped 45% a year after the announcement despite an initial 11% gain. 1 year after an S&P 500 inclusion announcement, stock performance can vary significantly. For instance, while some stocks like Palo Alto Networks and Tesla have performed well, up 50% and 46% respectively, others have not fared as well. CrowdStrike, for example, is down nearly 40%, and Super Micro Computer, SMCI, has dropped a staggering 76% from its highs. GoDaddy and Uber also showed mixed results, with GoDaddy down 4.6% and Uber up 19%. These results reflect the trend that the initial boost from the announcement often fades over time as company-specific factors and performance become more influential. The probability of stocks being higher 1 year later drops to about 63%, showing that the initial positive reaction can diminish. Palantir, which was initially criticized for its lack of profitability and high share dilution, has seen a turnaround with growing revenues and improved profitability. Despite this, its valuation remains high, trading at over 60 to 70 times earnings and a price-to-sales multiple of around 30 to 35 times. This indicates a high valuation relative to its revenue, highlighting that while Palantir has improved, its stock remains expensive. Overall, the announcement serves as a short-term bullish catalyst, but long-term performance is more influenced by the company's ongoing fundamentals and market conditions. For a detailed valuation of Palantir, it's useful to look at various metrics such as revenue, operating margins, and operating cash flow. However, due to limited historical data, these metrics may not be fully available yet, as the company has only recently become profitable. Don't forget that God, the creator of heaven and earth, is the giver of all wealth. Acknowledge him in your plans and he will direct your paths. Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6. If you have watched the whole video until the end, drop a comment like this: I stayed until the end. Just comment that I stayed until the end. When I see this comment, I will give you a heart. There are 3 more important steps to build wealth from nothing. First, like this video, subscribe and then turn on the notifications bell. If you do this, you highly motivate me to continue bringing to you transformative videos every week. Do not miss out on our future videos full of knowledge and wisdom. All I am asking is your subscription. Thanks for joining us today, your support is appreciated so much. Do not hesitate to share this video to help someone. I recommend that you watch the next video, subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts about today's video. Thank you, see you in the next video by God's grace. We love you, and blessings to you.